this is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
When a person shows you who they are, it's best to believe them. Dominic Carter here with you. The number to reach me live this hour, 800-848-9222. And coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll be chatting live with former Congressman, New York Congressman Peter King. So it bears repeating, and I'll tell you why. When a person shows you who they are, believe them. What am I talking about? Mamdani, the mayor of New York City, hosts the anti-Israel activist, the anti-Semitic activist, Mahmoud Khalil, and his family at Gracie Mansion for Ramadan. So here's what the equivalent is to something like that happening. President Trump inviting the grand wizard of the KKK to the White House, and then First Lady Melania Trump liking social media posts with President Trump at the White House with the grand wizard of the KKK. 800-848-9222. So Mahmoud Khalil, you may recall, he's the terrorist sympathizer, Syrian-born activist, and former Columbia University graduate student. And he was arrested by ICE, and he spent several months in custody. And he was shipped out to Louisiana, and the Trump administration tried to have him deported, and rightfully so. And of course, the liberal judges gave him a remand, if you will, and he was able to come back, and he's free now. But the Trump administration is still trying to have him deported, accusing him of committing fraud on his green card application. And the mayor of New York has this guy and his family at the People's House, Gracie Mansion, for dinner. 800-848-9222. And it begs the question. I want to ask you folks a question here. If things are so bad here in America, right now I'm talking about Muslim Americans, but all groups, if things are so bad here in America, why come here? Why complain? If they're so bad, why come here? And so this is on top of the mayor's wife, then she was not his wife at the time, liking over 70 posts as it relates to October 7th, in which they were posts against Israel. And one of them claiming that reports of Hamas rapes during the October 7th attack was a hoax. And she liked this. This is the mayor's wife. And this is on top of, initially, when the devices were thrown near Gracie Mansion, the highly dangerous IED devices capable of serious injury or death. Mayor Mamdani talked about white supremacy initially and did not say a word about the alleged terrorists. How is that? Why is that? 800-848-9222. Listen to this segment on News Nation.
Jason, I mean, it seems like a basic baseline would be to be able to condemn terrorism, to condemn forcefully, without any caveats, that building bombs at home for an Islamic ideology and bringing them to a public space in New York City and throwing them with the intent to harm and kill people should be something we could all agree on. And yet you have Mamdani bending over backwards to essentially try and distract from what actually happened. And then tonight, he's hosting Mahmoud Khalil, who is a Syrian national with alleged ties to terrorism overseas that he brought here.
Yeah, I mean, I would go one step further. I think the intent from folks like Mamdani is to almost justify this level of violence. I think we saw that, again, starting in 2020 on such a massive scale where folks were rioting, and rather than condemning the rioting, we're saying, well, they kind of have a point. That was the language coming from the left. And so I think that language hasn't shifted at all. Maybe they make some tweaks, but the end result is exactly the same. When you call out the white supremacy and then just say that there was some violence, courtesy of what you won't label as ISIS-inspired domestic terrorists, you're basically saying that the people who were there, who were the bigots, they kind of wanted this to happen. They should have expected that something like this would happen. That's their end goal.
And so this is the man that is the mayor of New York City, Mamdani. So let's talk for a second about Jake Lang. So Jake Lang has been called a white supremacist, and by most accounts, it appears that's exactly what he is. But he's the one that had the protests at Gracie Mansion, and then you had the counter protesters. And so when the mayor held his news conference on the lawn of Gracie Mansion, and rightfully so, the police blocked Mr. Lang, who tried to go in, because he was going to go in for the purpose of disrupting the mayor's news conference. So the police would not permit him in, and you're about to hear him yelling and screaming about don't touch me, don't touch me. He's talking to NYPD officers. And so Lang is not a Boy Scout. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And so Mamdani is right to denounce him, but why didn't you denounce the two guys carrying the bombs? Why is that, Mr. Mayor? This is Jake Lang yelling and screaming. Some things he's saying perhaps shouldn't be said, but yelling and screaming outside Gracie Mansion.
We need a total remigration. Every Muslim out of New York. Stop the public Muslim prayer calls. This is what you get when you have a Muslim mayor. Within the first 2 months, a bomb is thrown outside his home trying to kill white American Christians. About a vehicle can pass me easily now. Zoran Mamdani, you're a terrorist sympathizer. You murder New Yorkers with your rhetoric. No, I will not. I will not. Do not touch me. I will cause reasonable suspicion of a crime. Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Zoran Mamdani is complicit for the near assassination attempt and murder of dozens of New Yorkers. This man refused to name the name of radical Islamic terrorists that tried to kill NYPD officers and peaceful Christian protesters. This man ought to be ashamed of himself.
And so that's the man in question here, Jake Lang. But let's talk for a second about the mayor's wife, right? So the mayor has basically given her a complete pass for her despicable likes on social media. And I told you folks there was a reason why they kept her away from us during the campaign. And I have a funny feeling this is just the beginning that we're going to find out about her background. One of the folks that's raising the red flag, if you will, happens to be Congressman Mike Lawler, who appeared on News 12. Here's what he had to say about the mayor's wife.
He tried to sweep it under the rug and say that she's a private person and the love of his life. Well, that may well be true, but she's living in taxpayer-funded housing right now. And so as First Lady of the city, she signed up for this. You can't just sweep this under the rug and act as though it's not a big deal.
And I want you to listen to part of this. I'm about to start with your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. But this is Dr. Phil. I can't play the entire thing right now because of time restraints. But Dr. Phil on the mayor's wife.
For most Americans, it's nobody's business who you share your bed with. But that changes when you're married to one of the most powerful politicians in America. I'm talking about New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani and his wife, Rama Douaji. Now, being the spouse of the mayor of the largest city in America comes with a certain level of responsibility and scrutiny, and right now, Dowaji deserves just a lot of that scrutiny. Report from the Jewish Insider, Dowaji liked Instagram posts just hours after the October 7th attacks on Israel that celebrated Hamas assault and pushed anti-Israeli rhetoric. She liked one post claiming the October 7th mass rape was a hoax, and another showing Hamas militants breaking into Israel with tanks. And in case anyone has forgotten, on October 7th, Hamas terrorists murdered over 1,200 people and took more than 250 hostages. It doesn't matter how strongly someone supports the Palestinian cause. Anyone who likes what happened on October 7th is not standing for human rights. They're standing with terror. Mayor Mondani defended his wife, saying,
my wife is the love of my life, and she's also a private person who has held no formal position on my campaign or in my city hall.
But let's get real and talk about the real story. When you're the spouse of the mayor of the largest city in America and you're supporting the murder of hundreds of innocent Jews, trust me, that's not private. That's public. And Mayor Mondani, hear this clearly. When terror is excused, silence isn't neutrality. It's complicity. And that's the real story.
Well said, Dr. Phil. Let's go to your telephone calls. Kevin, line 2, Rockaway Park. Kevin, what's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing? Thank you very much for taking my call. Number one is, listen, New Yorkers deserve what they get. We elected this guy, Mondani, so, we can complain all we want, but these stupid liberals, they all voted for him in, Democrats, so we get what we deserve.
That's not exactly what happened, but go ahead, Kevin.
Well, we voted him in, unfortunately.
That's not exactly what happened, but go ahead.
All right. The other thing is that Reverend Al Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson, I'm so proud of his family, how they stuck up for his father and defended his respect for his, passing, and told the Democratic presidents that they were wrong for getting political regarding his death at the Mass. And, the son spoke like the father would speak from his heart, and shut those guys down.
Fair enough, Kevin. And it's interesting, Reverend Jackson's funeral. Kamala gets up there. I predicted what? Well, did you predict you would lose every battleground state? Why don't you go sit down, Kamala Harris? Just like drunk Uncle Joe. Uncle, please go sit down. You're embarrassing me. Go, Kamala. Go sit down. You're adding nothing of value to the conversation. 800-848-9222. We are coming right back.
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com. The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
First snowballs, now bombs. The lawlessness under Holcomb Mondani continues. That will end on January 1st when I'm sworn in as governor.
And that, of course, is the Nassau County Executive, Bruce Blakeman. I'm telling you, don't sleep on this guy. He's running for governor against Kathy Hochul, the incumbent. He's facing an uphill battle. He's cutting into her lead a little bit, but she's still up 20 points. Let's see what happens. He's out there trying to make the case. Back to your telephone calls. Let's go to Denise, line 4, Manhattan. Denise, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. I had wondered why no one had mentioned Bruce Blakeman, but that is something that we can do. And I'm calling on my community, which is the Black American community, to recognize that the Democrat Party is not what you remember. We have got to wake up and turn away from their policies that are really destroying us. And Mamdani, he said he's going to rule as a Democrat socialist. That's what he said. And I encourage everyone to go on their website and look at what they stand for. We can't just give up everything we've worked for and just run away from New York City.
Denise, let me ask you this question. So he had this terrorist sympathizer, Mahmoud Khalil, at Gracie Mansion for Ramadan. If Trump did this with the Grand Wizard of the KKK, there would be protests all over the country. But as a local person, are you offended that the mayor did this, or as much ado about nothing?
Extremely offended. But I'm offended that when he made his inaugural speech, when he made his victory speech, he acted as if New York was created just 20 years ago, and speaking about aunties and this person selling food on the street, never recognizing the hundreds of years of struggle, the more than 1 million men and women that lost their lives for this country, the time he lit up the Freedom Tower in green in January and proclaimed it, I guess it's Muslim History Month or so, Islamic History Month, whatever it is. Everything he does is a sign to the people that really back him. And Dominic, I wish you would go back to City Hall, because somebody needs to do a deep dive into the mayor and his wife. Where did the money come from to fund his campaign? And we've got to check our universities and our K through 12 public school system, because they are indoctrinating our children and our young people. And our country cannot survive with so many people that have no investment in the United States of America.
Denise,
we have,
thank you. Thank you. No, I thank you for the call. I want to try and get in one more before I take a break. Carlotta, Rhode Island, line 2. What's on your mind, young lady?
I have 3 things. I'll say them, and then
I have a minute before the break, so go ahead.
Okay. First of all, you said, why don't they go back? It doesn't matter if they go back.
Wait. I said, why don't they go back? That's not what I said. Please don't put words in my mouth. I said, if things are so bad here, why come? I said nothing about go back. Go ahead, Carlotta.
I come. All right. Why come? Because it doesn't matter if they're here or there. They come here, and the second generation are raised like princes. It's not the people who come. They're pretty good. It's because I think there's something in the Islamic religion itself that just teaches them anyone who's not a Muslim does not need to be treated well. I think it's a hatred within the religion.
Carlotta, I wish I had more time, but I've got to toss to the break. I'll make it up to you on another call. But folks, please don't put words in my mouth. I said, why come if things are so bad here in America? You know why they come, because they're absolute phonies. They want the best, and then they want to get here and complain. I'm done with that.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And with me now, former New York Congressman Peter King. Congressman, so nice of you to join us. How's everything going?
Everything is going great, Dominic. Couldn't ask for more. Everything is terrific.
So we have a lot to get to. And frankly, my mouth is wide open. Then at other times it's not, because Mamdani, he believes in giving red meat to his base, and he told us who he was in the campaign, and we were stupid enough to let 3 candidates divide the race. But anyway, I want to start with a tweet I'm looking at from Debbie Lebedo, Staten Island. She says, all New Yorkers, and she capitalizes this, did not vote for Mamdani. Someone didn't get out of the race when he didn't even make second place, and he lost in his hometown. A 3-way race never works, and people hated Cuomo more than they loved our city, and now this is the result. Respond to that, Congressman King, please.
Yeah, there's no doubt that if Curtis had dropped out, this would have been a closer race. But I think we have to accept the reality and I'm not happy about this, the reality that Mandemi did win, and he probably had at least a plurality, if not a majority of votes. And even if he didn't, let's say he only had 47 or 48%, I never thought that a candidate like Mandami, considering everything that's happened in the city, I don't mean the fact that he's a Muslim. That's a totally separate issue. It has nothing to do with it. But his views were so out of touch with rank and file New Yorkers, I never thought, at least I thought they were, I never thought that someone with those views would get any kind of a vote. I thought that's the type of guy that usually ran on one of those parties way down the bottom and got 4% of the vote on Election Day. So I think we have to acknowledge that there is a real political threat here, a real political power, and that it's not going to be easy. We can't just say that illegals voted or secret money came in. Allowing for all of that, he still ran a very, very strong race, and that has me more worried than anything.
Well, here's what has me worried, Congressman. So let's say Michael Jackson in his heyday, not the bad times. To see Mamdani when he goes before communities of color, it's like Michael Jackson in his heyday has walked up. And these people have no idea what's going on politically. But they got this smooth, there was that song, Smooth Operator. I think Sade did it, right? So they got this smooth talking mayor, fairly good looking. He tells them everything they want to hear. And the city is going down. I mean, okay, so let's deal with the incident where the pipe bombs, if you will, right? The guys are now federally charged. Right. Mamdani issues a statement immediately, attacking white supremacy as it relates to Jake Lang, who organized the event. But he left out the word terrorist or anything like that about the two guys throwing the bombs. How is that, Congressman?
Because this guy is so focused. It's almost like he has to acknowledge somehow, at least peripherally, that this was not white supremacists that did it. But anyone listening to his statement, you would think the main thrust of his statement was talking about white supremacists. The terrorists are almost like an afterthought. And even like as far as the police, I was glad that Jessica Tisch went on in great length talking about the heroism of the police. What Mandami was like a few sentences he had to make because he's been critical of them in the past. But no, his heart and soul is not with the police. It's not with middle income and blue collar New York families. It's with this fringe left. And, John, Dominic, what you were saying about how, again, certainly you can speak with more authority than I can about how he does with communities of color. But I've heard from any number of people that with young people, they just think he's like a rock star.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's his views so much per se as whatever style he has appeals to them. And also, not many of them are in a position yet to buy condominiums or own houses. So when they hear about tax the rich, they figure that's not them. We get some extra money this way, make it easier for us. So he has a real base of support among, again, minority groups for some reason. Maybe they identify with him as being a non-white or non-Caucasian, or whatever term we want to use. And then young people just see him as taking on the establishment, taking on the rich people so that they can make some money, get some financial benefit, keep their rent down, bring in more programs. So it's something we have to face the reality and not just claim that somehow he stole the election. I'm willing to say he won it, and we have to find out how to stop him.
Well, I'm willing to say he won it, but he had a direct partner that was a lead blocker for him that now refuses to say anything critical of him. And I wonder why that is, but that's neither here nor there, Congressman, because there's a saying that whatever's in the dark shall come to light. And it's going to come to light exactly what happened in the mayor's race and exactly why that third candidate won't say peep criticizing Mamdani. But
there's no doubt at all he should have gotten out, and then his followers up to that day still thought he was going to win somehow.
Which is ludicrous. I mean, he never had a chance from day one.
No.
From day one. I mean, and we have to be serious at some point. No credentials, no education, nothing. And you think he's going to be elected mayor? But anyway, so let's go on to Mahmoud Khalil. Why in the world with Mamdani for Ramadan? This guy is a terrorist sympathizer. This guy disrupted Columbia University. This guy had Jewish students terrorized to come to campus. And you welcome him to Gracie Mansion and his family? This guy spent months in ICE locked up by the Trump administration. The Trump administration tried to have him deported. These liberal judges blocked it. And you invite this guy to Gracie Mansion. Why would he do that, Congressman King?
I would say, Dominic, he knew what he was doing, and he did it for all the reasons you just mentioned. Those are all issues where Mandami would agree with him on it, and we think, oh, boy, that's going to be turning people off. He feels that with his magic as an orator and whatever, that he can somehow sell that to the people of New York. I mean, this wasn't often, there's always the embarrassment in politics when you get involved, you invite somebody or you accept an invitation and you find out they said something 5 years ago that was anti-Semitic or anti-Black or anti-Catholic. Oh, my God, how did I make that mistake? No, this is all it's out there. I mean, this guy, everything wrong. So many things that he's done wrong and disgraceful. Mandami knew all about them. It was public record, and he invites them anyway. I think he's saying to New York, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it, and you're going to have to learn to like it.
And, the only way, if President Trump invited the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan to the White House and broke bread with him and smiled for social media, and then the First Lady liked the Instagram posts, I mean, it would be the end of the world if President Trump did something like that. And this mayor, go ahead.
It should be.
I mean, it's incredible. So now let's talk about his wife. I knew all along, I think you and I and everybody else, there's a reason why they kept her from the campaign, right? There's a reason. And it's my opinion that this is just the tip of the iceberg that we're going to find out about the wife. The disgusting display of her liking Instagram posts days of while October 7th was happening, women being brutally raped by these savages and on and on and on, and she's siding with them. I mean, as I said at the top of the show, Congressman, when a person shows you who they are, we should believe them. Your take on the wife now.
Yeah, all we know, and I agree with you, I'm sure there's a lot we don't know, but even just in what we know now, to me, it's obvious they were hiding her. And especially in today's day and age in politics, where politicians are always showing off their families, their spouses, their kids, their grandchildren, their grandparents. And certainly, if you have a wife and she is educated, she is intelligent, you think you'd want her out there in the forefront. Instead, she was basically hidden until now it's coming out, and now they don't care. No, this is a family, and it's a whole group. It's a movement which is against or antithetical to basically everything that I think real New Yorkers believed over the years. I think society is changing a bit. We got to resist that, and we got to come back. I still think that the average person, listen, I think if everybody had come out to vote in the general election, Mandami would not have won. But the fact is, in off years, most people don't come out to vote. But I just think that he's taking advantage of, whether it's through social media, whether it's through his own media skills, to make sure that minority is going to come out, that he's going to get a majority of their votes, or at least a plurality of their votes. And so he's basically using us, and a lot of New Yorkers who complain, not you and not I, because we were out there from the start opposing him, but others who sit around and complain, well, maybe if you had come out and voted, maybe if you had gotten your neighbors to vote against him. So more people have to get engaged, because this is going to get, I think, worse before it gets better. This is not a fluke. This guy knew what he was doing. He knows what he's doing now, and he's going to have people implanted all over the city in different positions, really framing the city into a vision or an image that none of us would want. But it's happening. It's happening all around us, and someday, as bad as it is now, people are going to wake up in the morning and see it's that much worse.
Congressman King, I close this way. What do you make of Iran's new supreme leader and what's going on in Iran as it relates to the Trump administration?
We have to stand with President Trump. There's no such thing as an easy war. I don't think we should be putting timelines on things. Obviously, you want to get it over with as quickly as possible. You want to conclude it. You want it to be successful. But on the other hand, we have to make sure that there are certain targets met. And I say targets, I'm talking about political, diplomatic, and military. And the main one right now is to destroy as much of his military, the Iranian military, as possible. And that means all of their forces, the army, the IRGC, get down the line, all of their militia groups, Hezbollah, as much as possible, and hopefully we can stay in there. Now, my concern is that with oil prices going up and some of our allies starting to get nervous, that be more pressure on President Trump. But I would say to President Trump, and he's the president, I'm not, but to stick this out until we get most, if not all, of our goals intact. And the main one, at the least, has to be that their military and their weapon systems are decimated and destroyed.
Well, Congressman King, I look forward to chatting with you in the very near future. A lot is going on, and Mamdani is showing his true colors. So thank you very much, Congressman King.
Just so you know, yesterday was Rosemary's birthday. So.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Why didn't you tell me, Congressman?
Because I only focus on myself and you. I mean, Rosemary gets. I waited until the end to mention Rosemary. Otherwise, you would spend the whole interview talking about it. I'm tired of listening to this.
Well, please tell your wife that we really like her, and we're fans of hers, and that we hope that she had a great birthday, and happy belated birthday to your wife, Congressman. Congressman, always great to chat with you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let's go back to your telephone calls. Line 4, Liz in Florida. Liz, what's on your mind? What temperature is it in Florida today? 108?
It feels like it's 95. I think it's close to 90 or 92. Yeah.
Oh boy!
But I hear you have warmer weather now. So
yes, for today, but it's going to go downhill after today. What's on your mind?
So we all know who Mamdani is. He's a manipulator, a spinner, and he distorts and he tries to influence perceptions. And he probably does gaslighting as well. And what he does is he ignores or buries the facts, and instead of owning his actions, he'll blame others and avoid direct answers. We know what he does, right? So when there's 2 terrorists, Dominic, there's 2 more. Then there's 20 or 40 more. They're here, right? And soon we'll see Mamdani having lunch or dinner with these 2 terrorists arrested. Okay, so we have to figure out a way to get him out. And I mean, I personally don't believe he won legally, but I'm calling out to all your listeners out there, put on your thinking hats. Let's find a loophole because he entices, he's pro-terror, okay? So there's got to be something that he did already or he's doing now. We have to figure this out.
Hey, it sounds like in the background like you're doing grandma duty today.
I picked her up from school. Yes, she's on my lap right now. We're about to go in to get some healthy snacks. Yes.
And you had to put that part in about the healthy snacks. But Liz, thank you and good luck with your granddaughter today. And we at least have somewhat of a decent day weather-wise. We can't compete with you in Florida, but we have somewhat of a decent day. Let's go to Jamie, line 3, Rockaway Beach. Jamie, what's on your mind?
Hey, how's it going, Dom? Things are good out here. Beautiful day in Rockaway. We're in the month of March, Dom, and this is the month of daylight savings and spring, and we know 3 of the 5 boroughs that have beautiful.
Jamie, I'm late. I'm sorry. I'm late for a break. What's the point you want to make?
Well, the point I'm coming with was where's Mamdani for the Rockaway Parade? Is he going to go to Bay Ridge? Is he going to go to Staten Island?
Well, you already know where he is. He's down with his people. He's down with his base, and he could care less about me, you, or any of the people that were naive enough to actually vote for him. Thank you for the great call, Jamie, Rockaway Beach. Time for a break. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation final thoughts of the day belongs to Debbie Lobato. I'm looking at her tweet, and this is as real gets. She says, at Dominic TV, people should realize the Democratic Socialists of America are slowly moving into American government. DSA is a dangerous organization. I couldn't have said it better. And Mamdani is more concerned with them than he is any of us. Back to the telephone calls. Line 3, Ed in Massachusetts. Ed, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. I wanted to just go over my thoughts about why the mayor uses the language.
Okay, as long as it's quick. You don't have to set it up. Just go ahead.
he's talking to two different constituencies. He's talking to the hardcore, America-hating academics, the donor class, the people who show up at these Antifa rallies, but he has to say things that don't seem threatening to the people who go to the welcoming church on a Sunday morning or volunteer at the town library.
Okay. And what would you...
He has to thread the needle. He has to say certain things, but he has to avoid saying
Now, here's the thing where I disagree with you, Ed. It doesn't seem like he cares about threading the needle. He just doesn't care. His thing is, you suckers, I'm elected for 4 years. There's not a darn thing you can do about it. I've got Governor Kathy Hochul in deep check. Nobody can remove me except for her, and you are about to get the Mamdani treatment of how I'm going to ruin the city for the next 4 years, and there is nothing that you can do about it. Ed, thank you for the call. I understand Jim in New Jersey has a bone to pick with me. Jim, go right ahead, as long as it's quick. Go ahead.
Dominic, just a month and a half ago or so, you berated a caller that brought up Curtis's name. You said not to call again, and you never want to hear his name again. But it seems
did you hear me say the candidate's name?
No, but
okay, so you didn't hear. So there goes your whole point. I didn't say the candidate's name. What's the point you're trying to make, Jim? Let's get to some substance. What are you trying to make?
Who was the third person that made him?
Okay, Jim, I'm going to say it one more time, then I'm going to cut you off. What's the point you're trying to make?
The point is, you told them.
Okay, meet Mr. Click. You're done. Meet Mr. Click. You're done. So I gave him 3 opportunities to make the point, to go ahead and attack me for whatever he wants to attack me, and he wants to focus on that. Folks, don't you get it? You've been hoodwinked. I get it that you like that third candidate, but he never offered anything that be remotely qualified to be mayor of this city. He can't even run the organization. That organization doesn't even exist, really. When you think about it, what, 10 people? And his wife? The guy conned you the entire race. Don't you see it? And we're stuck with Mamdani. And by the way, he said that if Mamdani screwed up, he would be the first one to criticize him. I haven't heard him say peep. You know why? Because he's compromised. He can't say anything. The Mamdani campaign has him in deep check. Why is that? How is that? What was the deal that was cut? Remember, folks, I wasn't born yesterday. Let's go back to your calls here. Let's go here to Judith in Brooklyn, line 5. Judith, what's going on?
Khomeini Jr. has a death wish, Dominic, okay?
Well, okay, you say he has a death wish. Why? Because he took the job?
Are you kidding me? He's his father on steroids.
Okay, Judith, what's the point you're trying to make?
I'm trying to say, you know what? I want to tell you something. These people want change, and President Trump wants a normal regime, not a terrorist regime. This guy is a terrorist like his father, and it's not going to work. But I'll tell you something. There is a president there. His name is Dr. I don't know what his name. He's a president right now. He is the only one in the Reform Party. It's very possible they might make some sort of a deal and he's the one that holds the purses to pay the Republican, whatever they call it.
Right. I'm sorry, Judith. I got to take your call earlier. Folks, born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been honoring America's heroes ever since. Donate $11 a month and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org. T2T.org. I'm back live at midnight.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com.